Alright, it's a rainy day here today, and I have to keep this crazy little girl entertained in the rain, so I made her a new toy, but since I'm not a gatekeeper, I'm going to show you guys how to make a toy for your dogs so you can keep them entertained on these rainy days. First things first, you need to get 3 yards of fleece fabric. It doesn't matter what kind of fleece. This was, I think, $1 on sale per yard on a online website. So just get anything cheap that you can get. It doesn't matter what the fleece is. Just make sure it's fleece and not felt. And you're gonna lay it down on the ground, and you're gonna look for the salvage edge on the fabric, which is the factory side. And you're gonna cut it the length of the full 3 yards at about, excuse Athena, at about 5 inches wide. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just around 4 to 5 inches for a larger dog. If you have a smaller dog, do a thinner strip out of this fabric to make the toy a little bit thinner. The thicker you cut the strip, the thicker the toy is going to be all the way around. Athena keeps getting in the way. She's so silly. So you're going to cut 2 of these strips around the same size. It doesn't have to be perfect. And there she is holding the fabric for me. So kind of her to be my helper. And once that is cut out and you have your 2 strips, the next thing you want to do is fold the strips in half. You want to find your center point of your strips. So here I am holding the strip, the first strip at the center mark where I've folded it in half. And then I'm taking the second fold and I am putting that in the center going crossways. Again, this does not have to be perfect. We're just kind of winging it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom fabric, not the one on top, the bottom one, and we're going to cross that over itself at a diagonal, making 2 loops. 1 loop will be on the right side, 1 loop will be on the left side, and we're keeping these parallel so that they don't cross over each other. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the left fabric and we're going to put it under the left loop. And then the right fabric we're going to put under the right loop. And you should be going over the first fabric and into the loop of the second. So if you're not going over the first one to get to the loop, then you're doing it wrong. Then we're going to pull it. You always pull this tight going crossways. You're going to hold the cross section and pull the cross section. Next, we're going to take whatever fabric you desire, just making sure that you're on that you're going straight off of that little square that we've just made. You're going to cross it over, and whatever fabric is touching that, you're going to cross that over the next one. Then you can see we're crossing over again, and we're crossing the last one over and going through the first loop. And we're going to tighten by pulling the cross sections. And we're going to tighten it as much as we can. That's what makes this toy so durable and tough. So again, we're going to find any flap that you want to go with. You want to just make sure to cross it on the side that it is on that square in the middle. And we're crossing over all the ones that touch that one, going back through the original loop. And tightening at the cross sections, pulling it as tight as you possibly can. And we just repeat all the way up. It's going to go fast now. So here I'm just repeating this process over and over and over again, all the way up the fabric. Now once you get to the end of your toy, you'll have some pieces that are longer than others. You'll see here I've got 2 really long ones and then I've got 2 kind of short ones. So this is where it gets a little tricky at the end because you want to get as many of those knots in this as you can. So at the end I'm going to take one of the longer fabrics and I'm going to create our loop that we normally would. And then again we're going to just cross over the ones that are touching it. And then the short ones are going to be the ones that go towards the loop. And then we'll pull on the cross sections again, and we're going to find whatever one is our longest one next. And that's the one we're going to start with. So that longest one is going to make the last loop here. You can see the difference from long to short, but we're going to just cross it over, making that loop, and then we're going to cross over again and again until that last short one goes through the loop. This is where we want to finish this toy. We don't want to try to get another knot in it. We want there to be a little bit hanging off because some dogs like to tear at those and it's really cute. So you can see I've got some short ones. I'm going to trim those up to the same size. Then you could stop there, but if you want it to look more like a bone, you can take a pair of sharp cutting scissors. And you'll see at the beginning of the toy where we first loop that over, there's going to be that full piece of fabric going across the bottom. We want to cut that right down the middle. Once we cut that, we're going to see the other piece of fabric doing the same thing. It goes across the whole length of it. So we want to cut that in half. This one's going to be tricky to cut. This one is really thick and pulled really tight, so it's going to be a little tougher to get through even with good scissors, but stick at it. Now you'll see that little square in the middle, and what we want to do is take your scissors, close them up, and I basically just pry out a couple of those knots. I stick it under one of the pieces of fabric and pull it out of the loop, and they all unravel. Now we have a toy that looks just like a bone. Thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope your dogs love this toy as much as mine do.